really is one of my favorite sections, but I'm also a math teacher, so sometimes I'm not the best judge of what's fun or not. But this is called factoring. Now, factoring just means dividing. It's just a fancy word. We just refer to it when we're talking about polynomials. And we've heard the word factor before when we've talked about greatest common factor, because when we do GCF, we divide it out. So just as a reminder. So I'm going to actually start with a multiplication problem because we know multiplication and division are opposites. And then I'll try to relate it to the division and kind of just show you what we're looking for. So if I asked you, can you multiply, just want to do the right numbers here, x plus 7, x plus 1. Can you try that now? Now I will say, you guys took that quiz the other day. I have corrected it and I will give it back to you next week. I'll probably give it back to you. I think a bunch of people are taking it on Monday, so I'll probably give it back to you Tuesday. So if you took it in class, I'll give it back to you. If you took it digitally, I'll send you the copy back. A few people kind of had some issues, which was, life. Sometimes we just forget stuff. So I will give you an opportunity to make up that quiz. We'll just have to, it'll be kind of a short turnaround since the end of the term is ending, but I'll let you know about that next week. If that grade wasn't what you wanted it to be. So as of right now, so if you were confused on this last week, when we see something like this, when we see multiply, we're distributing. So I'm going to take this and distribute it. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x. And then I'm going to take this and distribute it. That gives me 7x plus 7. And when I combine my terms in the middle, I'll get x squared plus 8x plus 7. Exciting stuff. Probably not really for you, but we do what we can. And we know, just like going back, when we say multiply with polynomials, it's just a whole bunch of distributing. So now, here's the crazy part. What if I say factor x squared plus 8x plus 7? And you're saying what? Basically, I want to do that problem backwards, okay? So we started to say, oh yeah, I could do that, because that's multiplying, but when you're dividing, you kind of do multiplication backwards, right? So I want to start with this, but I want to end up with that as my answer. How would I do that? So I'm going to show you the steps. We're going to do these steps about 1 million times. I just need a little room. I love it. And we'll kind of write everything down and practice till our eyeballs fall out and all that fun stuff. So what happens every time? You know that x times x is x squared, right? The first two terms are going to give you x squared. So you kind of go above here and you write the factors of x squared, and it's x times x. And then you have some stuff going on in the middle, right? So when you're distributing, you got some stuff going on in there. But what I always know is that this term times this term will kind of give me that last, we call it the constant. So the constant here times the constant here will give this here. So we focus on that as well, and we say, well, what are the factors of that? 7 times 1. And then basically all you do is you make some sets of parentheses. You say, if these are my factors, I'm going to split them up and put 1 here and 1 here. If these are my factors, I'm going to split them up and put 1 here and 1 here. And then if that's a positive 8, we'll put a plus. Our main goal is that when we think about distributing those outside terms and getting 1x, and the inside terms and getting 7x, I want these to combine to the middle number. So obviously that's like a lot of work, but it is. It's one of those things, the more you do it, the easier it will get. So it always looks weird at the beginning. But our main goal is when we're looking at a trinomial, we're going to find the factors of the first term, what multiplies to that. We'll find the factors of the last term, and then we'll see kind of where we can plug them in. Obviously, this one, we didn't have a lot of options. But imagine if there was like a list of 4 factors over here, you'd have to figure out which one made sense and all that fun stuff. So I'll give you a second to get caught up. So we're just going to try with you today. That's basically it. As crazy as we'll get. Today's kind of an intro. And then we'll build on it next week. I'll have to figure out. Wait, next week? Wait. Oh, is next week really the last week of the term? Yeah, next week's the last week of the term because the term ends on a Monday, which is weird. Oh, man. Okay. So the next quiz we probably have will be in term 4. Term 4, that's the last term. That's so exciting. All right, so let's try another one. Now this one, we kind of knew the answer to that one because we had done the multiplication. On this one, we're not, so we don't know what the answer is. Okay. It's just getting used to these steps. Okay, so I go to my first term and I say, what can I multiply to get x squared? And it's always just x times x. Sometimes there might be a number in front. We'll deal with that later. Then I go to my last term. So I focus on first and last. And I say, what are the factors of 80? Ooh, I have a few options here, right? 1 and 80, 2 and 40, 4 and 20, 5 and something. I don't know, what's 80 divisible? 14, I think. No, that's 17? No, 16? Okay, I'm just gonna give one later. My brain doesn't work. It's funny, I can do like all crazy math, but ask me to multiply two numbers and my brain doesn't work. It's 16, Mrs. Sherman, you know. Or 8 and 10. Okay, oh man. So see how this one's a little bit more annoying than that one. That one only had one option, this one has 5. Okay, let's see if we can figure it out though. So right now I know there's only one option here. So we're gonna split up x and x. Because remember, we're dividing them. We're taking what we have, our factors, and we're dividing them into 2. Can anyone guess what pair we should use? 1 and 80, 2 and 44, and 25, and 16, 8 and 10.
1 and 80.
1 and 80. So think about 1 and 80. So we're multiplying. This gives me 80x. This gives me 1x. Can I add or subtract those to get negative 18? Nope. Yeah, so sometimes you're just going to guess and it's wrong. And that's just like life. You just kind of redo it. Not a big deal. Can anyone else guess if I had to combine 2 of those numbers, what could combine to negative 18? I can use positives or negatives, by the way. Yes, sir. 8 and 10. Because I always make this little like face thing. This gives me 10x. This gives me 8x. And I can change signs. I can do positives, negatives. And if I want negative 18, if both of those are negative, that gives me negative 18 when I combine them. So you just put minus signs in. That's it. I'm going to be honest with you. This is called factoring by guessing and checking. So I still to this day like do it and sometimes don't do it right the first time, and that's okay. So there should always be a combination that works. If you don't choose it the first time, then just do it again. I have the convenience of having a eraser. Like I can just erase mine. You can use a pencil. That might be helpful. Or you can just kind of rewrite the problem. But just as a heads up there, you might not guess right the first time every time. And that's okay. Do I want to do one like that? Why not?
Let's do it.
Let's do, sorry, I have like a million problems. I'm just trying to figure out which one I wanted to do. Let's do 5x squared. It's 2x minus 3. Okay. So I love, there is a little difference here, and the difference is now we have a 5 in front of x squared. It doesn't really change anything. You're still finding the factors. So I know that x squared is x times x, and I just think about, well, what are the factors of 5? So we would just write it as 5x times 1x. Right? Because 5 is just 5 once, and it's a prime number, x times. And then I go to 3, and I say, ooh, there's only one option there as well. I always like the lower the options, the easier it is, right? You just have less things to plug in and check. But I do want to just show you something quickly. So what can happen now that we have that coefficient, that 5x, I split them up, 5x, 1x. I'm just going to write it twice just to show you something. Since we have 1 and 3, we can actually have two options for answers. I could put the 1 here and the 3 here, or I could put the 3 here and the 1 here. So those are not the same answer, right? So we need to figure out which one's going to work. So sometimes like, okay, 5 and 1. And then as you go to check, you're like, wait a second, this doesn't work, but it's my only option. But that might be just because you can kind of flip things around. So let's just start with the first one. Oh, I didn't know what the middle number was. Okay, it's good to know what the middle number is. So I'm always focusing on, can I combine them to make that? This gives me 15x. This gives me 1x. So in my head, I say, can I combine 15 and 1 to make 2? And the answer is no. That's out. So let's just check the other one just to make sure. Just erase that so I have some room. This gives me 5x. This gives me 3x. And I say, can I combine those to make 2? Yeah, I can. Because I can use different signs, right? If I have a positive 5 minus 3, that gives me 2. So you just have to fill in your signs. This gave me positive 5, and this gave me negative 3. So once again, today is just like, ugh, like, I feel like when you do something new, you're like, ugh, I can't. My brain is not working. It's like a fake Friday today. I just want to go take a nap somewhere because it's so crappy. I'm with you. But our main goal today is just to get kind of introduced so that we're going to do 4 days of practice of this. And they're all pretty much the same. It's just really getting used to the process. I will tell you, factoring is one of those things, you see it all the time when you continue with your math career. So I teach Algebra 2, we factor every day. There's not a day this year that we have not factored something. And they can factor all sorts of crazy stuff, 6 terms and cubics and all sorts of weird things, but that will come in time. Your main goal is just know what factoring means. It just means to divide. Let's try one more, and I'm going to have you guys try one. Just once again, it's intro day, but let's just see how we feeling. Let's do one more with another number. I'm just trying to find numbers that aren't terrible here to save your sanity. I like prime numbers because prime numbers means there's not a lot of options for combinations here. So I literally do the same thing every time. So ready? This is what I do. I make my parentheses. So remember, factoring means I'm taking this and I'm dividing it into 2. To fill in, I go to my first term and I say, what are the factors of 7x squared? Well, I know that 7 is 7 times 1 and x squared is x times x. So we just write it as 7x times 1x, or you can just say times x, that's fine. And then I go to my last term, and I say, what are the factors of 3, 1, and 3? I'll worry about all the signs later. I just kind of focus on the numbers. And I just start to kind of fill things in and see if it works, and if it doesn't work, I'll just try a different combination. So let's try 7x, 1x. Let's try 1, 3. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, maybe we can just flip things around. So we do the outside. That gives me 21x. We do the inside terms. We're multiplying PS, right? Just like distributing. That gives me 1x. And I ask myself, can I combine those 2 numbers to make this middle number? And the answer is yes. It's always the best when you guess right the first time. I want it to be negative 20, so that would be negative 21 plus 1, right? So then last thing, just fill in your terms. This gave me 21, so I want to make that negative. This gave me 1, so I want to make that positive. That will be your answer. Fun stuff. Stuff it is. All right, I'm going to give you guys one to try. It's just one of those, we tried a few, just even if you can't do it, can you do a few steps of it? Trying something is always better than trying nothing. Giving me feedback is always helpful if something's not making sense. So I'll make this one not terrible. This next video is just gonna be a lot of practice. So in the next minute or two, if I just said, hey, can you factor that? Can you do your best to see how far you can get? I'm just gonna put in my assignment. Sort of boo-boo. Is the 2 square, it's squared, sorry, I was just messy. For all of these, they'll all be squared for now. We won't do anything fancy till later. So yes, it is squared, sorry. Sometimes I get messy, or I just like write super small. So please always tell me. Yeah. Any clarification? All right, block 4, you all are here, but some people unfortunately are phones. So one more minute, just, once again, we've done like 4 problems, so I don't expect you to be a pro at it, but I do expect that maybe you can at least follow some of the steps. And doing anything is always better than doing nothing, my friends. Man, I like half of my sophomore class today. It's too long. Hold on. I'm sitting sorry.
Yes, look, 4, 3, 2.
All right, let's check that one. Thanks. So basically, once again, I do the same thing every time, but we can kind of write some steps out in a few minutes. Like, let's be honest, it's gonna be a 3-day weekend. We might forget everything. So maybe writing a few steps, and there's a few like little hints and kind of tricks that I can tell you as well. But the main goal today is just to kind of get used to the process. So I always make my 2 sets of parentheses to remind myself that I'm taking this polynomial and I'm dividing it into 2. To divide it, I go to my first term and divide it, right? Find the factors, that's what factoring is. It's just x times x, so I tried to keep that one a little bit nicer for you, just as one of our first few practices. 18, we have a few options, right? 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. And I say, okay, let's try x and x, because that's really my only option. So one thing, I'll kind of write some hints down, or like tricks in a few minutes. Or maybe we might do some of them next week as well. When I have a big old long list like this, you might be able to kind of guess this one, because it's not that bad. But a lot of times when I do a list, I kind of do them out in order, and then I work backwards off of the list. For some reason, it just like happens a lot of the time that it saves you some time. Let's say I was just going into this one not thinking, and I put 3 and 6 in, and I was like, okay, like I don't know if it works or not. Remember, you're always just checking 6x and 3x. Can I combine that to make -11? The answer is no, so that's out. So once again, pencils are useful, or just like kind of redoing the problem. So let's try 2 and 9. So if I have 9x and 2x, can I combine that to make -11? Oh yeah, I can, right? -9 and -2. So another thing we'll talk about is signs. So if you notice that this last number is positive, that means the signs are the same, and in this case, they would both be negative. Or if it was positive, positive, they'd both be positive. If that's negative, they'd be opposite. So there's just like little things that we can, as we're adding to stuff, might save us time in the end. But can you do a quick check? Now, I do want to point out, this is a great answer, but if you wrote x minus 9, x minus 2, and you just switch the order, also perfect, doesn't matter. So as long as you have a 2 and a 9 with the minus signs, it doesn't matter the order that you put them in. Does anyone have a question on that? Okay. Cool. Well, if you guys aren't gonna ask questions, you're just gonna sit there, I'm gonna make it harder then, I'm sorry. Just how life is gonna have to be today. I have to, no one's talking to me. That means you all understand it, that means I need to make them harder. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. Okay, we'll do one the same and then maybe I'll make them harder. We can do this one. 5x squared minus 14x minus 24. You haven't noticed, literally it's gonna be the same every time. So it's actually kind of hard to make these hard. Because it's the same setup, you do the same thing. The only thing that technically makes it harder is if you have a lot more options, right? And that can happen with 24, so I did throw, I didn't make it harder, but it made it a little more work for us. So what I do, make my parentheses. Find the factors of the first term, that would just be 5x times 1x. So that's nice, only one option there, but 24, man. I hate when I see 24, there's always 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. So I guess it's not an exorbitant amount, but enough that you're like, I don't want to check all these, but it is what it is. So let's start. So the nice thing is I know it's 5x and 1x. So once again, when you have more options, I suggest you write them in order and then work backwards. So you want to work with the numbers that are closest together and then they move farther apart as they go. It's just one of those magical things that it will just save you time a lot of times. So let's start with 4 and 6. So I'm just going to kind of do these quick in my head. This is 30x, this is 4x. That's not going to work. So let's try to, remember you can also flip them. So let's try 6 here, 4 here. This is 20x, this is 6x. Woo-hoo. That's gonna work. Because if I have negative 20 plus 6, that gives me negative 14. So once again, it was better. Imagine if you had to work down and you did all of those. Oh my God, what a pain in the butt it would be. And you have to flip everything. Always work backwards off your list. So fill in your signs correctly. 5 times the 4 gave me the 20, and I want to make that negative. And the 1 times the 6 gave me a 6, which is positive. So was that harder? No. There were more options, but once again, we kind of followed that rule, and it made our life a little bit easier. Literally, this is like, once again, I can't make these much harder. I said harder before. I was being aggressive because no one was talking to me. So there's only so many things you can do. I can only change the numbers, so the process is always the same. So let's do 2 more together, and then I'm going to have you guys try like 2 or 3 as a wrap up, and then I'll just check you, and then you'll be good for the day. Now I can't remember which ones I've done though, so this is where they're lost. Yeah. Let's do this one. I'm so hungry. All right, so I go into saying, okay, it says factor. I'm going to go through my regular steps. I'll make my parentheses. And find the factor. So 6x squared, we got 6x times 1x. Oops, I need to put an x there. Or 3x times 2x. Ooh, 2 options. How exciting. For 6, we have the option of 1 and 6, or 2 and 3. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kind of do this every time. If I have a list, I write them in order and I work backwards off of it. So I work with the ones that are closest together. So I'm gonna start with 3x and 2x. And I'm gonna say, well, I have some stuff to plug in. So one thing that will save you time, and maybe we'll just write all this stuff next week, just as a reminder on Monday. You cannot put common factors together. So if I have 3x here, I cannot put 3 here. I cannot put 6 here. I cannot put 12 or 8. Anything divisible by 3, I cannot put in the same set of parentheses. So if this is 2x, I can't put a 2 or a 4 or a 6 or an 8. Okay, so that just goes against our factoring life here. So that will save us some time because that will give us less options. But let's kind of work backwards on this. We'll start with 2 and 3. I'll put the 2 here because then those aren't common factors. Obviously, everything's divisible by 1, but I'm in the 3 here. Ooh, I think this might be it. Because I get 9x. I get 4x. Can I make negative 13 out of that? Heck yes, I can. If they're both negative. So I just fill in my minus sign. So just those little things I've kind of been talking about. We'll write everything like formally out next week. But that just saves you time, right? Because who wants to check every option? Oh, not me. So make your list in order, kind of work backwards off of them with the numbers that are closest together. You can't put common factors together. So once again, if this was 2x, you couldn't even put 2 there. That would be illegal. So you don't even need to try it. So little things that will save us time. Let's do one more together and then you guys will try a few and then we'll be done. Because I'm going to check everyone at the end and then I'll give myself a few minutes. And let's do this one. All right, last one. So I start the same way I start. Like this is like one of those things, like you just do the same thing every time. Okay, I kind of like that. Maybe that's why I like this. I like something where you don't have to think too much. You can just like go through the motions. The only thing that's changing is our numbers. So we have different combinations. 4x squared, we do have 2 options, right? We have 4x times x or 2x times 2x. And then over here 2 is just 1 times 2. Once again, I'll focus on the signs later. So here's where like the time saver is. So I'm going to do it wrong the first time. If I start with 2x and 2x, I can't. Because I just said I can't put common factors together, and I would have to put a 2 here, which we can't do, okay? So that's where you're going to save yourself some time later on as we're getting used to things. I would say, oh, I can't even do that one because there are common factors. There's nothing else to plug in. So 2x and 2x is out. Not even an option based on kind of what we've been talking about. So we're left with 4x and x. Now use that rule again. I cannot put the 2 here because then those would have a common factor. So let's throw the 1 here, the 2 here. We get 8x and 1x. That just saved us a whole bunch of work and having to check other things because I can combine these to make positive 7 if I have positive 8 minus 1. And then I just fill in my signs. And that, my friends, is your answer. So we'll kind of formally write down some of the things to start looking for, but once again, today we're just getting used to the process. But things like you can't put common factors together will be important just because it saves you time. Things like, writing those lists out and then kind of working backwards off of them. All just time savers in the end. Because technically you can check every option if you really wanted to, I guess if you're bored. But who really wants to? Not many people. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 problems as a wrap up. And then I will start to kind of check people and then we'll go over them quick before we leave. So for the people at home, once you are done with these 3, if you want to scan your work and submit it, still stay on the meet because we are going to go over it. But if you want to just scan it and submit it once you're done, I should see the notes that we've done together. And then the 3 that you're trying on your own for you to get credit for today. But it will just save you from rushing at the end. You're more than welcome to. And then people here, just keep your notebook out. I'll check in a few minutes. All right, so here's your wrap-up problem. Now, let's see if I can do ones that I didn't actually get rid of. Main goal today is like, just can I do something? Okay? Something's always better than nothing. Wrap up.
Well,
You are factoring. Oh, Schneikers, I can't remember which ones we've done. I don't think we did this one. X squared minus 3x. Did I do that one? Oh, I don't think I did this one. 3x. 6. I really should mark off when I do a problem. Something new learned today. And then let's try. What did I do? 6x squared plus 5x minus 14. All right, so to the best of your ability, can you follow what we've done? Can you think about some of the things that we've talked about to maybe save you some time? Your main goal is, can you just find an option that when you do that distributing, that you can make the middle term? That's always our main goal. And get that middle term to work out. For the people at home, I'm setting up that assignment in Google Classroom, so it will be up in a moment. Once you're done and you want to scan. I just would like to wait so I know what to assign it to. Today I'll update everyone's grade. So I'll put in, I think I said it yesterday, I'll give you an assignment grade too. Today I'll give you an assignment grade. So that might have an effect on some people's. And then please just make sure if you have not contacted me yet, and I emailed you to get back to me.
oh, folks. You guys want to trade grid? No, on the computer, you know, I really want those first. So, in our local today. What? Would you like to change my kids? What people? So, I would recommend this to you. And, my good for baseball, good for watching, good for baseball. And if I can change baseball, I would eliminate
If you're stuck or you just like need a hint or you just have a question, feel free to ask. Tis my job to help you. Sometimes something doesn't work, then just try something else. That's basically the scheme.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Alex, what would you change your careers for? Okay, let's see if the rest has forever. What do you change your careers for? Who will change your careers for?
Right? Because once you get the answer, you're like, oh yeah, that's the answer. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes a few steps to get there. But this one shouldn't be too bad because there's not a ton of options. It's just x times x. This is either 1 times 4 or 2 times 2. And when you did factor it, hopefully you saw if you tried 2 and 2, it didn't work, right? You couldn't get a 3 out of that. So if I throw in 1 and 4, once again, if you flip them, that's okay. You just need to make sure your signs are correct. 4x, 1x. I need -3, so that'd be -4 plus 1. So the 1 is positive and the 4 is negative. Once again, if you wrote x minus 4x plus 1, you good. As long as your binomials are the same, it doesn't matter the order of the binomials. Oh, then we get into ones, not necessarily harder, but like sometimes there's just like more options, so that can be a little bit annoying. So let me start off with, because I don't know the answer right now, I'm gonna be honest. If I start off with 2 and 3, I can't put the 3 here, so 2 and 3, that's 9 and 2. There's nothing better than guessing it right the first time. It's the best feeling. I want to make it negative 11, so if I make both of those minuses, you're good. So that one should have been 3x minus 2x minus 3. And last but not least, once again, I'm kind of going and I don't know the answer either. It's 6x and 1x or 3x and 2x, so I do have a few options. 14 is 1 and 14 or 2 and 7. So I kind of go off like, I'm going to start with 3x and 2x. If I start with 2 and 7, 2 can't go here, so I'm going to write 2 here, 7 here. That's not going to work because that's 21 and 4. Okay, that's out. Let me try 1 and 14 because once again, I couldn't put the 2 here. I can't put the 14 here, but I can put it here. No, that's going to be 20 and 3. Okay, that one's out. So let me try those other coefficients, which were 6 and 1. So you can see sometimes it just takes a little bit. So that's why erasers are our friends. I can't put a 2 here, so let's try the 2 here and the 7 here. Oh, I think that's going to work, right? 12x and 7x. If I want to make 5, if I add a positive 12 minus 7, that would give me 5. I'm sorry, I put a plus here and a minus here, and I'm done. So that's loud. Oh, people here. Sorry, we have something for next week, and I printed it, and I need to send it to you. I forget what day we're doing this, but if I can print something for you ahead of time, I'll always try to. So just throw it in that folder, and when I say that was negative, there you go. So people here, you guys are good, you can pass up. People at home, you're starting to upload. When I see yours uploaded, I will tell you you can sign up. You can sign up. Thank you so much. I don't think I have anything major for you guys. Once again, people will be making up that quiz. I will give it back to you by Tuesday. And then we'll talk quickly, just we have very limited time about maybe making it up. Maybe I'll do like, I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. There'll be some way that you can earn some points back. And that's it. So I'll try to update everything today. If you see anything amiss, then you let me know, because we don't want to wait till like the last day of the term to do that stuff. So let me update and see who has passed that in. Christian, Tommy, Ryan, and Molly, you guys may sign off. You've submitted your notes. Thank you very much. Thanks, you too. You too. For everyone else, you're still at your scale. Ooh, I got a few more. You're scanning. Aiden, you're all set. Thank you. Yeah, what's up? Okay. Okay, I mean, they're just getting to me in a little bit, that's fine. That's fine, I'll check it later, just to make sure, but, yep, you're all set then. Just get it in at some point today, and you'll be fine with me, okay? Thanks. Oh, I just got a big load. Michael, you're all set. Colleen, you're good. Paige, Haley. Is that everyone? Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, just give us, I know. Oh, okay. So, Danny, the bell's about to ring. You can sign off, just make sure it gets uploaded at some point soon, okay? Have a good day. Where's the call?
It's a baseball game.
I think we're doing this. Alright, this is the rest of the day, what is it? For me. What do I got? Have a nice long weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy those last few remote days. You only have 4 more.
I told Massive, my brother got arrested. They were in jail last week. And I told my sister about it. Oh, okay, have a good weekend. Bye.
Reaches, I couldn't give a reason why. Reese! Not his touch on the Chevy door, like a flash that I cannot cure. I made a jump, well it's made for me, how evergreen and blue lights don't say a word again. Never was really, so I watched you closely. Yes.
Make sure if you eat, you can't be at those desks. You gotta be two, yeah, you gotta be every other. Once you eat, you can sit down, you just need to have your mask is on.
Yeah, it's bad.
Your hair.
I hate that.
What did you say?
Oh, I'm 17. 17. I'm so good.
You're in. You're 19?
Today is.
On my butt. No chance.
I'm gonna be 18. So,
Thank you, guys. The video of the sign. Really say.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. You did. That looks like me. Those.
is what we used to do.
Well, she likes me, so maybe she'll do it.
She'll like,
Really?
she'll get friends.
And she can have some. Took my dog. got a mystery. I was sitting on a chair, so.
Did you get ketchup?
Oh,
Oh, ketchup.
yeah, I'm just gonna light that. Just switching it up on it. Let's go. We got donuts today. Yeah. Oh, you're a dipper? You did that. Respectable. Betty chips. You know that song? Betty and the Jets. John. Really crunchy. This was you. Hey, you kind of just lied to me because you're so hard.
Maybe this is my question. It's a good one. Oh, my darling.
I was waiting for you to say.
I know, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm kind of into my drink. Then I was like, oh, the class. Where's my manners?
That's my man.
There's about to be more people in this room in 2 weeks.
There will be, yeah.
Do you know who's going to be there?
Yeah.
Okay, so the other actual half of our study is only 3 people.
Oh, it ain't all that bad.
No, but then we're getting other kids. I'm like, every day it's different.
Oh, it is.
I even almost watched it, I'm like, I
You
can't,
know,
like,
3 kids and
I'm a planner, I can't do this. She was like, I'm like, I can't, like, you're giving me different kids every day.
You're doing your challenge.
So the other half of our study, the 3 people are Hannah Chandler, she's a freshman, so you probably don't know her. Haley Daniels, James Holland.
Oh my god, I love Haley.
There you go.
We're gonna have
And then I have a list of students that I don't even have their first name, so I don't, like, I literally just have a bunch of last names. I'm like, I need their first name. She's like, okay, I'll give them to you.
Everyone gets to know every.
You want me to do CV charts?
It's probably real quiet, huh, on those days that you had that 3-person study, huh?
Oh, yeah. Like half the time, like, there's
How
been
y'all
like
doing? Good.
2 people out every day. 2 people. So yeah.
forgot not the ketchup. Ketchup. Not the ketchup.
You get, then the white pepper.
So just a few heads up for when seniors come back and then when everyone comes back. You're gonna, so now I'm like, you can kind of like eat whenever. You're only gonna be able to eat during like that middle block if you're eating in class. Seniors, you're always gonna be able to go outside if you want to. So you can go outside during second block.
Rain or shine.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Um.
Everyone else, because there'll be like way more people and we can't all take our masks off within 6 feet. Half of the class will go to the caf/gym.
The gym?
Yeah, they have desks in the gym, I guess. And then half will stay here. So I'll probably just switch it every day, but if you have a preference. And then I started making the seating chart, but everyone's kind of like where they are. I kind of put everyone in the back. So I feel like people like the back. So if you have any preferences about where you sit, or like if you don't want to go to the caf for lunch or like things like that, just let me know because I need to plan all that in the next few days. And that's it.
Yeah, it's not very good.
And then a couple basketballs on there.
Seems cookie.
I'm talking like really. It's not, was it? I did not.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Oh, what is that? Alright.
Here's the video. Here's the video.
You do anything? You do anything?
No. Well, my birthday is Saturday, so probably.
Really?
Like third goal.
Do you ever know if you prove it?
What's the? Is it my birthday?
You just, if you prove
Fine.
you can use with your pictures.
I'm not gonna use any of them. What should I do?
Infections.
That would suck, 'cause I would get.
Bye, Mr. Roger.
It's not as bad as it looks.
It's actually not bad.
What do you get? Chicken parm?
There's like more sauce in it.
You should.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Who's that?
Dot,
Who was it?
Taylor. Luke, not Taylor.
Blue.
60.
Ooh, you're so funny.
You're saying it's so rude. Rude.
Okay, let's get this work done. This essay isn't gonna write itself.
Essays, man.
I don't understand why, like, when my AP, like, my one AP exam is done, like, why I can't just leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just not the way it works, unfortunately.
Rawr. Or like, no homework assigned, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hopefully.
Excuse me.
Try doing that. Make it better.
You need to put in timelines.
Give it these times. Oh,
Excuse me.
What's in this one? A dash Palmer. Division door. Good, right?
Spot on. Spot on. My sound is.
So the new is,
Do you have a team for Tina Monday? Do you have a team for Tina Monday?
Yeah, I don't want to team with, Emily Fox put me in a team. She made up our team. But she like didn't tell me who's in it.
Oh,
How much people per team anyways? 4? Right?
it's 3 from OFB, 3 from A.
Oh!
So it's like 6 total.
so
I'm gonna ask her right now who else is on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.